Happy 2025, everybody. This is the first episode of the new year for Rambling Through Everyday Life with Fran and Angela, and we're so glad to be back after a couple of weeks off, celebrating all the things Christmas and New Year with our friends and family. All right, my name is Fran, and I am one of the co-hosts for this show, and we are so glad that you're joining us. I'm going to say that this particular episode is adventurous. Everything that we talk about feels adventurous in nature, even as we reflect back on this holiday season and as we look toward some super exciting things happening in the month of January. All right, everybody, sit back, enjoy the show. We love you so much. Happy New Year, everybody.
It's January.
Holy smokeroonies, but actually, Angela, it's not.
This releases in January. Happy New Year.
We're recording still in the very last wee hours of December. But dang, it's 2025, people.
We've got a lot to say.
We do. We've been off.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, we've been off for a couple of weeks. Seems longer than a couple of weeks, but yeah. So here we go, everybody. Happy New Year.
So I just commented before we hit record on your lovely red nail color. Fran, you have not displayed this color before, and I love it.
I told Chesney, who does my nails, I said, Chesney, I feel like I've gone back to 1994 when you either wore whatever color red or Cajun shrimp.
Oh, Cajun shrimp.
Like that was the only options you had, unless you did like a French manicure or something. Mm-hmm. And so I feel so strange, but now I'm used to it. I was trying to be in the Christmas spirit.
I love it.
They're going to stay on until it's time to take them off.
Valentine's, you can keep your red theme.
I will go back to that other color that we
brownish,
did. The brown, purple, brown.
I thought I was repeating red.
Oh no, that's not red. That's more like a coral pink undertone.
But I like it.
Oh, I do too.
It's like if you had said coral, I'd have been like, no. Uh-huh. And I have to take the little book that they give you, the display book, and go hold it in the window, and it still looks different to me. And then we have this communication barrier, and then sometimes I'm just surprised. And with the dip, it goes on one color, and then they activate it, and bam, it's something else.
See, I do gel.
Well, I don't know why I do dip.
Well, I do. Only reason why I do gel is because Chesney says that I need to do gel.
That's so interesting. Somebody somewhere told me that dip was healthier, but I don't understand that.
Well,
I don't
my
think
nails
any of it's healthy.
Probably not. We're probably, nobody comment on this, but we're probably all dying of something that we've done to our nails.
Between our hair dye that we will never give up.
And the food and our nails.
More power to the people going gray naturally. I'm so arrogant.
Yeah.
I found another silver eyebrow and just about, I was like digging for it in the mirror in my car going, you cannot stay here.
Okay, let's change the subject.
Let's not talk about aging and old. Let's talk about happy.
Let's talk about January. Let's talk about New Year's. Let's talk about Christmas. Let's talk about all the things.
Okay, I have a lot of randoms, but this is the first random. According to the Farmer's Almanac,
oh Lordy,
and my husband watching whatever he watches, there is a polar vortex, and we may get cold, snowy weather in January.
If you do the long range forecast, because I'm obsessed with what's happening January 10th and 11th because we have a student leadership summit that I'm responsible for. I've been tasked with that assignment.
Y'all say a prayer over all that.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's so fun. And so I'm still working on what I'm talking about on Saturday morning with these students. I love how it's coming together. But last year when we had we had the first one last year, we had it, and then the next day or that night, it started snowing, and we were out for a solid week. So I'm very mindful of, no, we can't have that again. But that weekend or leading up to that weekend, it gets bitter cold. Oh. Bitter cold. And there is a teeny tiny chance of snow, like not on those dates, but like a few days prior. But yeah, it's going to be bitter cold again, people.
It fascinates me that they can know that.
I don't know how they know that. I know. How do you know what the weather system is doing out there?
There will be a groundhog in a month that'll tell us something.
Yeah, he's always accurate.
And we're not going to talk about this yet, but we are headed somewhere fun and warmer as an adventure
I can't
for
wait.
Fran's birthday.
When are we going to talk about that?
We will eventually.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
Have we not told them at all?
No. So y'all stay tuned. We've got something crazy in the works. And Fran does not even know the extent of it. Fran and I have never run away somewhere warm and happy on a weekend in January close to her birthday and gone crazy.
I can't wait.
We're going to go crazy.
There will probably be an obnoxious amount of Instagram stories.
Absolutely.
It's just going to be over the top.
We'll give you all the what to do and not to do, and we're going to learn that in the moment.
Yes, stay tuned, everyone.
You may see some mishaps and shenanigans. It's going to be fabulous.
I can't wait.
Okay, speaking of mishaps and shenanigans, I want to just briefly talk about what happened to you and Clay and how my son showed up and how crazy that was. I still think about my man-child as being like 4 years old. But Cole came to the rescue with a crowbar and sent me a selfie of Cole and Fran. The kid who never wants pictures requested a selfie with Fran on the side of the road. Just tell us what happened.
Okay. Y'all, here's what's I call this the cinnamon roll mishap.
Let's also say Fran's had an interesting 2024 and various trials and tribulations.
Listen, if you people only knew.
So come on, 2025.
Yeah, it's literally need a new year. Okay.
So cinnamon rolls.
The cinnamon roll situation. It is December 23rd at approximately 4:30 in the afternoon because I told the cinnamon roll lady I would be at her house in our old neighborhood to pick up said cinnamon rolls for Christmas morning. Really, they're for Dylan because Dylan loves these cinnamon rolls. I do too. They're homemade. They're to die for. Okay, so for you local people, let me paint the picture for you. We are coming down Pleasant Plains. We're going to turn onto McClellan. Fellowship Bible Church sits at that corner. Y'all know where I'm talking about. So we've made the turn to go down McClellan toward like USJ, that whole area. So there is a car. There's a white car that's turning left into the church parking lot, I guess. Then there's a car directly in front of me. That car was red. It's so interesting. Like, why do you remember these things? That car is in front of me. It's red. Well, of course that car is going to stop because the car in front of them is turning, and apparently they had to wait on traffic. So, therefore, I stop. Well, therefore, the guy behind me did not stop, and he had to have been going 30 miles an hour or more because it was a full-on hit from behind. Clay's glasses flew off his head. I remember immediately saying, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. We turn into the kind of the entrance of the church just to get off the road because it's just a 2-lane road, and it was about to be that time of day. There's already a lot of traffic, but it was about to be that time of day where the whole world is mad at us because we've taken up all the road space. The 1 lane, we've taken it up. So we turn in. I immediately have this horrible headache that lasted a solid 24 hours of just, it's hard to describe. It wasn't really a headache, but it was just
PTSD.
My head hurt. Yeah. My head hurt. And so Clay had the sense, we get out of the car, I see the back of my car, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Because you've been in a rental already this year.
Yeah. When I backed into a student's car. Yeah, I don't know if we ever told y'all that on the podcast.
I forgot that's why.
Yeah, so, so that happened. Maybe I'll tell y'all that story another day.
Fran's ready for a reset.
Oh, my gosh. And so we're standing there assessing things. The guy's still on the road. So Clay had the sense to say, I'm going to call 911 so the police will come. I'm like, okay, good, thank you, because I can't think about anything.
You just go numb in those moments.
And so at the same time, he walks down there to check on the guy. His airbag had gone off. The whole front of his car is completely buckled. He was coming at us quick, hard, heavy, and fast.
And this is a short distance.
Yes.
Between the red light and where you are is short.
Right. So he had to have made that turn and just, and going. And so, anyway, the police come and do all the things that they do. But before the police got there, all of a sudden I hear this, Miss Fran. And I was like, what? I'm dazed and confused and trying to act normal. And up in the parking lot, he had parked his truck. Here comes Cole and some friend that I did ask him his name, and I have no memory of that guy's name whatsoever.
It was probably Jack DeBerry.
No, it wasn't that name.
Oh, I can't remember who he was with.
And so...
Was it Sam?
Maybe Sam.
I bet it was Sam Davis.
Maybe Sam.
Sweet
that
kids.
Sounds right.
Sweet boys.
Yeah, he was precious. They both just looked like they were 12 years old to me standing there. And so...
Here comes Cole with the crowbar.
Well, he said, well, I was just going down the road and I saw that it was you. And so he came in and parked. And I was like, there was this massive piece of metal. I don't even know where it came from on the car. I guess the bumper somewhere back there is literally laying on the ground. I'll post all of this in stories for y'all because I have a photo. It's laying on the ground. I can't drive my car anywhere with that happening. And Cole goes, well, I've got a crowbar in my truck. I can pull that off if you want me to.
It's the most random. Like, as a mom, you just want your kids to be helpful and show up for people.
Oh.
I had a proud mama moment. I was like, I'm so glad he noticed and saw that it was Fran and
stopped. That was enough.
And was helpful.
But the fact that he had a crowbar and then he gets out there with his crowbar and starts pulling on this piece of metal. All of a sudden, I was like, am I in a junkyard or something? And like my car's being torn apart. And he just literally 2 tries. And then I'm like, well, now what do we do with it? And so he goes, let's just put it in the back of your car. And so here's what also happened. Like the hatch, because it's electronic, you just push the button and it opens and closes. Well, that wasn't working right because of how it had been hit. So I was like, oh no, now it doesn't shut. What do we do? And Clay said, well, I remember from another wreck.
Poor Clay.
Not my wreck, another wreck he was in a long time ago. He said, take your keys out of the car and it'll shut. I don't remember if that worked or not, but nonetheless, we got it back there, got it shut. Cole was like, do you need anything? And I was like, no, I think we're good. Thank you. And then that's when the police came.
But at some point, Cole, who hates pictures.
Oh, yeah. He wanted a selfie with me. He's like, can we take a picture? And I was like, well, sure.
Which when I saw the selfie immediately, I thought Fran wanted to send me a selfie.
Oh,
with
no,
Cole.
no.
The fact that it was Cole's idea.
No. Here's what's also wild, Angela. I don't know if this is something that is new on my new iPhone that I have, or if this is something you have to activate in an update. I have no idea. But apparently, those of you all that are my emergency contacts, which I had to identify, like that.
You put the little red asterisk by the names.
And so my husband, Christy, Robin, and Angela are my emergency contacts. It notified you all.
Thank God I saw Cole's text before I saw yours.
What the heck?
I got a text that said... Fran,
I'm going to pull it up and tell y'all what it said.
Because it was scary in and of itself, because it was like Fran has been in a crash, or a crash has been detected.
Yes, this is what it said. This is crazy.
And I'm glad to know, but y'all need listening to know if you don't already.
It comes from your phone sends this on your behalf. It says crash detected, SOS. Fran Thomas called emergency services from this approximate location, which I did not. Clay did. So that's weird. I don't know how this works. Fran Thomas called emergency services from this approximate location after iPhone detected a crash.
Wow.
My phone detected there was a crash. You are receiving this message because Fran has listed you as an emergency contact, and then it shared my location. And then I had 2 people immediately, Christy and Robin, and Christy was even out of the dang country, send me a text, and they were like, are you okay? I just got notified that you were in a wreck. That is brilliant and wonderful. Thank you, iPhone. If you don't have that, if you don't have people labeled as emergency contacts and you have an updated version of an iPhone, you need to do that.
Absolutely.
Because if you're knocked unconscious and you can't do whatever,
somebody needs to know.
Okay. So
the
anyway.
other thing, the quick little side note, but in your settings, you can create a legacy contact. I don't know if we've talked about that on here, but the estate planning attorney in me wants y'all to know. Because we have a joke in my family that all of our pictures are on our phones. So you're going to have to hold up Face ID on my dead body one day.
I've seen this.
Or, yes. So you can go into settings and then you click up at the top where it has your name.
Yes.
And then you can designate multiple legacy contact people and they have access to your phone.
That's a new thing, isn't it?
It's within the past year or so.
Yes.
I'm sure Android people either have something or should stop being the reason we can't have a blue group text.
Yes. I've seen that, and we all need to do that.
We all need to do that. Okay. So I'm glad
it's fine, though.
I'm glad that you're okay.
I'm in a loaner car, and it's going to get fixed.
Poor Fran.
And all the things, but poor dang Fran. Alive. Merry Christmas.
Well, okay. I also want to say this.
We got the cinnamon rolls, and they were to die for.
And you got Clay home for Christmas.
Yeah.
Tell us just real quick. You did a great post about this.
Yeah, just go to my Facebook.
The airport experience.
How about that?
I'm so excited that we can fly. Not only we can go these places, but people in those places can come here.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, this is just like small Jackson, Tennessee. We've got a 50-passenger Denver Air Connect that lets you.
And a gas station.
And a gas station. Remember that gas station, y'all? They're all right there together at the same block.
You can fly in just to see the gas station.
Yeah, and just go to Angela's gas station because that's what we're going to refer to it from now on. But it's a connection. So if you can book through a major airline and so like how sometimes like with United, you see like United Express or like, listen, I also don't know exactly what I'm talking about here, but you might see Denver Air Connect as part of your flight. And so there were people that like flew into Jackson, but they aren't getting off here. They're ultimately going somewhere else. So they just sat on the plane.
Well, we're going to Italy in May, and I booked my $75 ticket from Jackson to Atlanta to go from Atlanta to London to Italy. But I don't have to drive to Memphis. I don't have to pay for parking. Traffic. You breeze right through security.
Oh, it's so good. I cannot recommend it enough. I was there when he got off. I was there when I sent him home, watched the whole process occur. And I was just like, this is fantastic.
And they're not canceling flights.
Nope.
It's not a little puddle jumper plane.
And it's the same flight schedule like I'm only paying attention for Chicago because if I can't get on a non-rev flight up there, then I might want to book that because it's so convenient. But I lost my train of thought.
The times are the same. I'm leaving here at 8 a.m. and it's like a 45-minute flight to Atlanta.
Yeah,
so it's like 8 a.m.
So Chicago and Atlanta, it's the same flight schedule every single day. Yeah. So
every day.
Yay, look at us, Jackson, Tennessee.
I know.
And it was so fun because I went outside the airport like when the flight started taxiing to the runway. I went outside of the airport because I did get a little emotional and I was starting to get very teary. And so I walked out of the airport and I'm at the front of the airport and I could hear the engines start up. So I knew they were about to take off. And so I got my video camera and I watched that whole plane take off and like it made its way, I guess you'd say, like kind of toward Memphis in that direction, but that's south.
That's my house.
Yeah. So it just kind of went a certain direction. I was like, well, look at us, Jackson, with our big old plane flying around.
They fly over my farm.
I believe it. And people have commented like, what's that plane?
Oh, I love it.
I know. It makes me laugh now.
I love it. It makes me so happy.
Okay.
Well, I'm so glad Clay was home for Christmas.
For a solid probably 39 hours is all.
But he can come home more blocks of hours now with this flight.
Yeah. Well, we'd rather not pay for it because he can fly for free. But if we have to, right, if any of us have to, and I just highly recommend it. It was so great.
Well, having big kids home is just the best. And Kaylee had her wisdom teeth removed before Christmas, which was easier than we thought it would be. Of course, it's easy for me to say that. I'm not the one whose mouth was affected by this.
Did you have your wisdom teeth out?
Yes, when I was her age in college.
That's when most people do.
Fran, however,
I have no wisdom teeth, y'all.
No wisdom teeth.
I didn't even know that was possible until a long time ago. Went to the dentist, probably when we moved to Jackson, and they do all the x-rays and stuff. And he's like, when did you get your wisdom teeth out? And I was like, wait, what? I never have.
That's bizarre.
And he goes, well, they're not there.
That's as bizarre as my mouth not being big enough to accommodate my teeth.
It's so wild, y'all.
I can remember my mom saying, are you sure this mouth is not big enough for these teeth to grow? But, okay, so that was on the Tuesday before Christmas. And the Friday before Christmas, we didn't know if we'd get to go or not, but we got to go to Mississippi to meet Catherine Rogers, who founded Purposefully Made Ministries in Kenya that we love so much, that we've talked about, and Brother Neville and Miss Kathy. And it was...
These are like Kaylee's second... Yes. It's her mission trip family.
It's her mission trip family. It's Oma and Opa. And, you know, she wanted grandparents in her life, and she has wonderful grandmothers, but no grandfather. And it's just so sweet the way they have taken her in.
And how did she find them? She's a student at Samford.
Through Samford, she was made aware through another student who backed out of the trip that there was a ministry to special needs children and their mamas in Kenya. The founder of the ministry, Catherine Rogers, is a Samford graduate, and she actually won a major humanitarian award through Samford past year.
Love it.
So when we're praying about, we don't know who these people are, this group has now dwindled down. It's just Kaylee and Brother Neville going around the world.
And we don't know this man.
Yeah,
I remember how, it's scary to send your child to Kenya because you were asking me all those questions. And then it's like, but I also don't know these people at all.
And we had been through a crisis in our home church where there was scandal involved. And it's like, okay, you may be a man in ministry, and I know you say you love Jesus, but can I trust my child
That's exactly
with you
right.
alone
My daughter.
around the world? Yeah. And let me just tell you, you know, when the Holy Spirit in us connects with the Holy Spirit in another person, we come into these people's homes and don't even know them outside of Facebook and you know, the fact that our daughter has been around the world and loves them now.
And you got to see them.
It feels like we have been part of each other's lives forever. Everybody had tears falling off their faces talking about what the Lord has done in our lives and how he brought all of our paths to intertwine. And, you know, I've told you how many times, you know, that's great that you love foreign missions. My role is local missions. I will never see myself going overseas.
Guess what, everyone?
I want to go.
Stay tuned.
I want to go.
We are going to go.
We're sponsoring, we've got Purity and Bahati are two of our little babies. And Brother Neville's wife, Miss Kathy, has all kinds of health challenges and hand quilted quilts for each and every one of these babies, hearing the stories of how the mamas are finding community and loving on each other and pointing each other to Christ when they've been so lonely and isolated, raising a special needs child in a culture that, you know, considers them demon possessed or outcast. It just is so incredible. So that's something exciting.
That's not where we're going in January, though.
No, it's not.
For my birthday.
That is not where we're going. We're going to do the opposite of that. There's going to be all kinds of adventure on the horizon. We've got to help Fran recover from 2024.
But listen, let's go back to that Kenya trip for just a second, because where Kaylee is in the middle of making some future decisions about post-grad.
Yes.
And so once that becomes a little bit more clear, then I'm telling you, I'm going to be, Angela, give me Brother Neville's phone number because I'm going to make this happen. I will take charge of getting this on the calendar because I will not let you back out of it.
No, we're going.
Because you will be scared and tempted to be like, well, that's not going to work because of this, that, and the other. And I'm going to be like, no, ma'am.
And Brother Neville and Catherine, I would love to have them come on the podcast, and we're working on that. But his story and how he surrendered to the call of ministry not all that long ago.
And what age person is he?
I think he told us he turned 21, but I think it was 67. Brother Neville, if you're listening and that's wrong, I'm so sorry. But he worked for the Pentagon. I mean, this man has had a life that just asking him his story. I kept getting sidetracked with all the ways
stories within stories.
Just surrender and obedience, and for Catherine as well. There's so much I want y'all to learn about them. So we're working on getting them to come tell you themselves their story.
So that's going to happen. And I really thought my Kenya days were over and done.
Nope.
So I'm excited.
We're going to Kenya.
Yeah.
We'll have to bring the Whimsy doll along.
Can't wait.
Okay, so I tried something yesterday for the first time that I've heard a lot about, and I don't think you and I have ever talked about this. Have you tried a Poppi drink?
No, but I see them all over the place. I see them at Target. I can't remember if it was Well, I think I did try a Poppi, and there's also Olipop.
Maybe.
I don't know. I feel like there's so many of these drinks out there now. It's kind of like there was Red Bull and Red Bull only. And then all of a sudden now there's 24 million energy drinks in the same shaped can.
And now these are the probiotic.
I don't know.
And they have apple cider vinegar and it sounded disgusting.
But is it carbonated?
It's carbonated.
Because like, listen, the best carbonation in the world is a Coke from McDonald's. And so on ice. And so if it's a weird carbonation, I'm like, am I going to like this?
It has to be ice cold. The fizzy pop bubbles were hitting just right. The flavor was a little, I don't know if, and they do have a little bit of cane sugar, but it's also got apple cider vinegar and gut health, wonderful things.
I do remember once upon a time, Angela, you got me on this apple cider vinegar kick.
Trim healthy mama.
Oh, God
we
help
were putting
us.
a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar
Yes, we were.
in the, what are those drinks that we were adding
I don't know. I don't remember. I'm still traumatized by it.
It was terrible. I also made the frownies.
Oh, we're not bringing those back for my birthday.
Saying, these aren't brownies. These are frownies.
You made those for me for my birthday when it was the If Gathering at the barn.
I'm so sorry I ever did that to you.
Yeah.
They looked like doo-doo. They looked like little Tootsie Rolls.
They're awful.
They were horrible.
Horrible, y'all.
Just eat a dang brownie.
So, yeah, just eat the brownie.
Just eat the brownie.
Just eat the brownie. But okay, so this has this beverage has apple cider vinegar.
Yes, and we were exiting Kroger and they were over near the eggs, even though we've had a shortage of everything. There was no milk and no eggs. And
what's it called? What's this called?
Poppi.
Poppi.
So Kaylee grabbed one and I tried a sip of it.
It's a soda, they say. Cute can. Everyone.
It's a healthy alternative to a soda. The other thing, because this is all supposed to be gut healthy. So y'all know.
How do we know?
We don't. How do we know that the internet is interneting? How do we know electricity is electrifying? Like you pay money for these things.
How does all this happen?
How do we know what they're doing?
Yeah.
So
is this FDA approved?
Y'all probably. Y'all know last year I decided I wanted to crochet as my hobby, and then I threw that whole thing in the trash after the granny squares failed 32 ways.
I forgot about that.
So this year, this is also going to make you laugh. Brittany, my Brittany who works for me, my new lawyer, Brittany, she's fabulous. She is so in tune with her mental health and having good hobbies. And I'm learning that from her.
To have her on the show.
A little child shall lead them. She's, 25, 26 and killing it with balance and, learning how to garden.
Guest.
And she would be a great guest. She made us some sourdough bread that was out of this world. She did a jalapeno cheddar and a cinnamon sour. And sourdough bread is supposed to be good for your gut health.
Right.
So I go to my
sister-in-law. Not the Wonder Bread?
Not the Wonder Bread. So we go to my sister-in-law. Jessie has us over and Jason every Christmas morning for breakfast. So Jessie shows me her sourdough starter. All these people are into this sourdough.
Listen, I'm a wannabe. It ain't happening, but I'm a wannabe.
So by the time I leave there,
are you doing this?
Well, Angela style. You know what that means. So by the time we leave there, I'm convinced she sent me home with a mason jar with a lid because I have none, a tiny spatula because I have none, flour because I have none, a little envelope with something that's supposed to create this creature that grows into sourdough starter bread.
Dang, why was I not there?
Then they're showing me all these videos and Cole's like, it's kind of like an alien, like it grows and it breathes and it moves.
Yeah.
So we get home. And I'm like, well, it's kind of like watering the plants. Now I have Easy Plant. They're all alive.
Who's going to do this for me?
So then I'm like, what happens when I can't be on top of this with my starter?
Right.
And she's like, well, you just evaporate it down and put it back in an envelope.
What does that even mean?
Well, here's where I landed with all this. Now that I've taken Jessie's jar, her starter envelope, her flour, and her tiny spatula, when I was in Kroger, I walked past the bakery yesterday and see fresh loaves of sourdough bread.
Buy it.
They also have them at Aldi.
Buy it.
Brittany's making them.
Buy it.
You know what? This little thing's going to stay in its envelope safe from me. I enjoyed the thought of, hey, maybe I should do this.
It was
my
fun
hobby.
for a minute.
It was a fun theory. In reality, let's all just know that it's not in my future.
Is a tiny spatula like a tiny hand?
Yes. It's so cute and tiny. Now,
Would you
Saturday
put a photo?
Night Live skit?
Please put a photo. I want a photo of this in stories.
Well, all of it is very well kept because it has not been touched.
Okay.
Jessie, I'm so sorry.
Okay. Hey, can we talk? This is what what is it called? Poppi?
Poppi.
Okay. Prebiotic says, listen, how's this for marketing, y'all? No more hiding cans in the bottom of your recycling bin or sipping sparkling water with your burger and fries. You deserve that mouth-watering swirl of flavors and bubbles.
Mouth-watering swirl.
Without feeling bad about it. Get all the soda feels with 5 grams of sugar and 25 calories. And prebiotics. Remember, cravings aren't a crime, people. It's time to love soda again. So then it goes on. There's prebiotics, apple cider vinegar, 5 grams of sugar or less, and 25 calories or less. And then there's a whole frequently asked questions. So there you go. I will say,
I'm still doing my happy juice that Rachel Mitchell recommended, where you add that to your water. And I don't know what works and what doesn't, but I can tell you that I feel better, and it's supposed to help my gut health and my hormones and my energy.
That's the bottom line. Here's what's the problem too with stuff like this that's so new, and they have multiple flavors. If I don't like the first flavor that I try, I'm not buying it again. I'm automatically out because I've now wasted, and I've got all these cans that I'm not going to drink.
We need to share. You need to get the single can in Kroger, and we need to get a group of us who are interested, and everybody just take a little sip.
Yeah. Okay. That's sample. What we're going to do.
Okay. The other thing I got on Black Friday sale, and my husband said, this is so stupid, but if that's what you want, I'll get it for you.
Okay. Do I know this?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So I have never had a Roomba or any kind of vacuum situation. I've heard people say I had one until my cat threw up and it dragged that all over the house.
Oh my God.
I don't have a cat, so I'm not worried about that. But there's one that mops and vacuums called a DreameBot. And it was on a Black Friday sale for like 60% off, and it was still not cheap. But my theory was, well, if my husband had bought me anything electronic up until this year, I would have been salty about it. But I want this little robot, and I want it to mop and vacuum my floor. And if it wants to cook dinner while it's here, that's also fine. So it has not made it out of the box yet.
Oh, but Angela.
It will.
Okay.
It will. And then also I got myself the modern monocle.
Oh, yes, you did, y'all. She sure did. She sure did. And she sent me a video about it. And before I pushed play on the video, I was like, well, I like that necklace you got on, Angela.
I'm Monopoly man gone fancy is what I am, y'all.
Yeah.
And Kaylee.
Did it work?
Yes. And Kaylee's roommate in college, for some reason, they have this inside joke about a monocle. I didn't know that anybody else even knew or used that word. No,
I didn't even know what that word was.
So she was like, the reason she made the video that I sent you was she wanted to send it to Sophie. So anyway, got that. And then Carl got his bird buddy.
Yes, I'm so jealous.
We'll have some bird selfies soon. So anyway, did you have any fun Christmas anythings that need to be talked about before
other than
we
the cinnamon roll situation?
That was you had a weird Christmas that was one time only in your tiny house.
Yeah,
and it's temporary.
It is temporary.
Your 2025 is going to be amazing.
Yeah, here it just is what it is. I'm just going to be really happy to have this new house of ours that will be built. And so next Christmas, we will be in some space that allows more than one person to be in the kitchen at a time. That kind of got on my nerves when I was trying to cook the big Christmas breakfast. But anyway, it was a great Christmas. That sounds very selfish, but Clay was able to...
honest.
Yeah.
It's a transitional
year. It is. It's just been a lot. But anyway, Clay was able to come home. Tyler and Dylan... we had Christmas morning with them because Clay had to leave on Christmas Eve. Went to church. We had a fantastic Christmas Eve service. It was absolutely beautiful. It was great. It was great.
Can I just say how happy it was to be in a Christmas Eve service where we had to stand up along the wall?
Yeah.
People were apologizing. I was like, don't you ever apologize for people packing out the church house. It was beautiful.
Hey, let me change the subject really quick. Let me change the subject really quick, because as you were sitting there talking about that, I'm looking at your Apple Watch. I need you people to know this, that when I got my new phone, my Apple Watch was paired to my old iPhone. I cannot get that dang thing to pair with my new phone. Like, it's so bizarre. I don't know. It's driving me crazy. before I got my new phone, I went and bought the stuff that lets you like make your Apple Watch dressy. Like I got the gold bands. I got the little rim that goes around the face of the watch. So it dresses up your Apple Watch. It is all just sitting there on the dang counter because I can wear my watch. I'm not going to get notifications, which I guess is fine.
You're going to be shocked by what I'm about to tell you.
Okay, what are you going to tell me?
I'm zero help in IT world. However,
where's Cole Snyder?
No, I actually had to do this myself.
Okay.
And now I'm trying to remember what I did. There's an app. I think it's in the watch app. I'll help you.
Well, I did everything. Yes, I did everything that everyone said to do.
And it's
still not. So like you know how like you just want to like delete it all, like
burn it all down and start over.
I'm just kind of like, screw it, let me buy a new Apple Watch, which that's the most ridiculous thing in all the world. But I'm like, well, isn't it funny that I spent this money on all this stuff to dress this blasted thing up, and now the watch itself is dead.
We're going to bring her to life.
I mean,
somebody listening can help us.
I just want somebody to come fix it for me. Okay. Back to the Christmas Eve service.
Well, when you were talking about your kids, I want to say this really fast because I don't think we've ever talked about it on the podcast. Emma makes the cutest.
Our sweet, beloved Emma.
Sweet Emma. Tyler's Emma. Kaylee came home
Follow
from
her on
Annika's.
Instagram, y'all. It's called Emma Sews.
We have got to link that.
We'll share that in
so talented.
In what's it called? Stories.
Stories. Cole bought his girlfriend and Kaylee bought herself sweatshirts that Emma made. Oakland's has cute little bows on it that she sewed. Kaylee's has 3 stars. They are so cute. She's so proud of Emma.
Well, I'm proud of her because at her age, she's young. She's graduated from college. She has a full-time job. She's super creative. I can see Emma having her own something, her own business someday. I'm not sure what that is exactly, but she's so cute and creative, loves fashion, beauty, all the things. And I'm just proud of her for stepping out and trying something new. Her Aunt Tiffany has taught her so much about sewing, and it's just so fun. I'm so proud of her. She made me a darling Christmas tree sweatshirt that I wore a couple of times, and we'll share that in stories. So
they make great gifts, and they're local.
Yeah, and you're supporting a young entrepreneur.
Yep. Annika, we're proud of Annika too. That's where Kaylee bought the sweatshirt. They collaborate a lot, and Annika is no longer having a storefront. She's going online only. So the way they're learning how to pivot and what to do and
how to be business girls at such young age is phenomenal.
It is so great.
Bravo to all of you people out there that are going to tackle, you young people especially, and old people too. Good grief.
And also, if you're like me and you think, oh, maybe that could be my hobby, and you fail and you throw it all away.
No, don't throw it all away. Just leave it on the counter and let us get a picture of it first. Then throw it all away.
You too have value and you're precious and loved.
All right, everybody. We love y'all so much. It's a new year. We're still the same, but it's a new year. All right, y'all have a great day. We'll see you next week. We're always so glad that you listen every single week. Are you following us on all the socials? Check us out on Facebook and Instagram, and so rarely TikTok, but we're still over there. All right, you guys, we'll see you next week. Have a great day.